So I have recently used MCT oil to control my seborrheic dermatitis, and here's how it went. So if you have been following my content, you know that I always talk about seborrheic dermatitis because I used to have it once upon a time. However, I was able to manage it, but few days ago I was scratching my scalp, and when I checked my nails, I saw that I have flakes under my nails, which means my seborrheic dermatitis came back. And I get it, I have been stressed lately. I was launching a clinic, I was working in it. So I get it, because of the stress, the seborrheic dermatitis came back. Back to my story. When I realized that my seborrheic dermatitis is back, guess what I did? Yeah, like what everyone does, I reached out for a seborrheic dermatitis shampoo, which is an anti-dandruff shampoo. I used it, but after a few weeks, I saw that the seborrheic dermatitis was still not under control, which means my scalp was not responding to the shampoos anymore, and I had to look for an alternative. So I was thinking what alternative I can choose. I remember that few days ago I was reading a Reddit thread, because I am an active part of the seborrheic dermatitis community in Reddit, and I was going through the threads, and in one thread I saw someone mention that they have been using MCT oil for their scalp and it was working. So I thought, okay, let's try it. Let's try something new, because obviously the old ones were not working for me. I did my research, I bought the MCT oil from Amazon, and I started using it. Before I talk about my whole experience, let's dig into what MCT oil is, and is it really antifungal, and why it's even working for seborrheic dermatitis. So first, let's talk about, is MCT oil antifungal? Well, if you focus on the name MCT, which means medium chain triglycerides, and triglycerides are fat chains, unlike most other oils, it is made of medium chain triglycerides. Now, when you use coconut oil, that is made up of higher chain triglycerides, olive oil, same like that. So whenever you're using those oils on your seborrheic dermatitis affected scalp, what happens? The malassezia yeast, which causes the seborrheic dermatitis, eats it and multiplies. That's why you see those flares, that's why your scalp itches. However, with MCT oil, as it has medium chain triglycerides or lesser length of chains in it, what happens is that when you put on your scalp, the malassezia yeast cannot eat it. As a result, it cannot multiply. That's why you don't see any flares with it. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Oleo found that when they used the antifungal activity of MCT oils or the medium chain triglycerides, they actually saw that it works against the fungus. And this is a good information for people who are suffering with seborrheic dermatitis, because we want something which doesn't fit the malassezia. But I want to be very honest with you, the research against MCT oil is very limited, and research area is still growing over that aspect. If you're someone who chooses things based on scientific studies only, I want to be very clear with you that you might not find enough evidence or enough studies backing this up. That doesn't mean it doesn't work, okay? It means that the study is limited, but whatever we have still says that it has antifungal activities. So now we know that MCT oil means that it has medium chain triglycerides, which is not like other oils. But what makes people more confused is that should they choose a C8 MCT oil or C10 MCT oil? Now, if you have been researching in MCT oil, you know that MCT oil has mostly two variants which are often discussed when it comes to seborrheic dermatitis. One is C8, another one is C10. So what is that C8 and C10? Okay, the C indicates the carbon atom, and the number indicates how many carbon atoms are in there in that chain. So in case of C8, there are 8, which is called caprylic acid, and in case of C10, there are 10 carbon atoms, which is called capric acid. Now, why it matters? Because if you have lesser carbon atoms, it has more antimicrobial properties, and if you have something which has a stronger antimicrobial properties, it means that if you have severe seborrheic dermatitis going on, that one will help you for sure. In case of C10, as it has a few number of carbon atoms more than C8, is a bit gentler, and the antimicrobial properties is a bit gentler than the C8 one. That's why if you have like milder cases, you can use C10, but for me, I personally went for the C8. It doesn't matter if you're choosing C8 or C10, one thing you have to pay attention to is that when you are choosing an MCT oil, you have to make sure that it doesn't have any lauric acid in it. See, a lot of time, if you're buying oils from Amazon or anywhere else, you get an MCT oil that is a blend. Now, the problem with blends is that sometimes it has lauric acid. Technically, lauric acid is also an MCT oil which has C12, which is like 12 carbon atoms in it. But if you are using a blend that has lauric acid in it, you are putting your scalp into a higher chances of flare-up. Problem is lauric acid, although it's an MCT oil, it falls right in the edge of the range of the oil structure Melissaceae feeds on. That's why if you're using a blend which has lauric acid, there is a high chance that if your scalp is very irritated or is already suffering with seborrheic dermatitis, it can flare up. That's why while choosing an MCT oil, always keep in mind that you have to choose the pure one. It doesn't matter if you're going for C8 or C10, but make sure that the one you're going for is a pure organic one. Let's get into the most important part, what science says about MCT oil and does it actually help with seborrheic dermatitis according to science. Well, I was researching, I found the lab evidence quite promising, honestly. I found multiple in vitro studies which prove that short chains like caprylic or capric acid inhibit growth of Melissaceae. Outside the lab, if you look into Reddit, if you go to other communities where people are talking about seborrheic dermatitis, you will find plenty of people talking about how it benefited them. And I myself is one of them because I used it and it helped me a lot. Let's talk about my experience now. I know you have been waiting for it. As I mentioned, I bought an C8 MCT oil from Amazon, which is pure and organic, and I used it for 1 week and my seborrheic dermatitis was completely under control. So here's how I used it. First, I used a normal shampoo. Okay, I was so tired of using the antifungal or anti-dandruff shampoo because it was not working on my scalp. So I was thinking like, okay, maybe stop using it completely and go for a gentle one. So yeah, I used my regular shampoo, and after wash, what I did, I towel dried my hair and then I applied the MCT oil on my scalp. I used a dropper and carefully I put it on the affected area because on my crown I have several patches where it itches a lot. Like for my seborrheic dermatitis, it's so weird. It's not spread all over the head. It's specifically concentrated on my scalp, like on my crown. And what happens is that if I'm having flare-ups, I usually have in there. So what I did, I took a dropper, I took the oil and I carefully, very gently put it there and gently massaged it. And I left it like that. I dried my hair with a blow dryer and that's it. The days I was not washing my hair, what I did, I used the flaxseed serum which has colloidal oatmeal, and colloidal oatmeal is very good for inflammation. So if you know that if you are having seborrheic dermatitis, 8 out of 10 times you have follicle inflammation, right? So that's why what I did, I controlled the seborrheic dermatitis using the MCT oil. And on top of that, on the days I was not washing my hair, I was using the flaxseed colloidal oatmeal scalp serum on my scalp. And the scalp serum, the flaxseed one, I was using all over my scalp because it's not an oil and it was pretty lighter on my scalp, so I was like pretty fine with it. MCT oil, yeah, it's very lighter in texture, but you have to be very careful while you're applying it because if you apply like a lot, because when you're applying, that happened to me in first day, I applied a lot, and when I went to sleep and I woke up, I saw that a lot of oily patches on my pillowcases. So I want to warn you that when you are using MCT oil, be very careful. Use like few drops because it's very runny and it can go all over your scalp very quickly. So you don't need a lot of MCT oil, you just need few drops. After 1 week, actually when I applied the MCT oil, I saw the itching went away immediately because it was itching on my scalp. The flare was very bad. Okay, so it was itching. After I applied the MCT oil, it went away almost immediately. And after 1 week, my seborrheic dermatitis was under control. Trust me, I'm not making this up. If you are someone who has been using MCT oil, you know that I'm telling the truth. So yeah, if your seborrheic dermatitis is flared up and you're looking for a natural, very easy, low maintenance treatment for your scalp, please do check out the MCT oil treatments out there. I'm sure you have in your country, it doesn't matter where you are. MCT oil is very accessible. You can find it in Amazon, you can find it in holistic stores, just buy one that is pure and organic and has like only C8 or C10. It doesn't have any lauric acid or doesn't have tea tree or any other things. Okay, just pure MCT oil. So yes guys, that was it. My seborrheic dermatitis is under control now. I'm so happy because I try not to flare my seborrheic dermatitis because it's not a pleasant experience. It itches, it makes my hair fall. I don't like it and I don't think anyone likes it. So try the MCT oil if you are suffering with seborrheic dermatitis and you tried shampoos, scalp treatments, and nothing worked on you. So that was it. I'm signing off for now. I will see you in my next one. Until then, ciao. But yeah, also let me know in the comments if you have ever tried MCT oil or if you're planning to try it. I'll see you in my next one.